Hey everybody, today we're going to take a look at Transformers Takara Encore number 23, Fortress Maximus. So on the front of the box we can see this is pretty much the same as the original Japanese release of Fortress Maximus. The only differences being, in this corner it used to have C114 I believe it was, and this Transformers Encore symbol obviously wasn't there. Other than that, it's pretty much the same. So in this section here we can see that is Spike and that is Cerebros. Now in Japan this was Cerebros and this was actually Fortress. And on the bottom half of the box we can see that's his city mode, that's his starship mode, and we've got a little bit of Japanese writing along the bottom there. We do also have another number 23 there denoting the Encore release. On the side of the box we've got Fortress Maximus in his robot mode, that's Cerebros in his robot mode, we've got the city mode, we've got the starship mode. On the back of the box we've got this fantastic Headmaster's battle scene, and this is absolutely huge picture. But there we've got Fortress Maximus, you can just about see Scorponok there, and the rest of them are all Headmasters from that line. And at the bottom of the box we've got a sort of easy version of the transformation, just sort of showing you that you bend the legs and you move the arms and you detach the head. There we've got the city mode. And now we're going from city mode into starship mode. So when you remove him from the box he comes in this huge white styrofoam coffin that has a very fragile lid on the top. And if we move that we can see we get a bag with the Master Sword, and we get a bag with just about everything else in it. And then he comes lying down. He does have separate ramp bits for his arms. I was a little bit concerned that once you put them on you couldn't take them off again, but they go on and off fine, and they do hold in position. You're not going to worry about them falling off. We also get a set of Japanese instructions. There's actually not a great deal to this, considering there's a lot of pieces and a lot of things to do with it. There's not that much as far as transformation goes. You can see the parts list there, the essential sticker guide, and the old how to use a rub symbol. We also get this sticker sheet. Now I have applied the stickers, but I just wanted to show you how big this is. I mean, there's my hand there, and as you can see this just goes on forever. Absolutely stupid amount of stickers on this. Some of them are very tricky to do as well, especially the big ones that go on very flat areas. So a lot of the smaller ones aren't too bad, but you do need to give yourself a fair few hours to put all these on properly. And like any good Transformers release from Japan, we get a trading card. We only get one, surprisingly. I thought we would have got one with Cerebros and maybe one for Spike, but we don't. We just get the one. And you can see his tech specs there. That's a lot of 10s that he's got there. So this is the Headmaster Spike, and like all Headmasters he has the same issue with squared corners on his arms, so if you move him forward it puts pressure on the little peg and snaps the arm off, which is the main reason why these things get so expensive. Straight out of the box though, man's got a wonky arm. That's a bit disappointing. The quality on the rest of this set's pretty good, but that bit, that's not so good. So to transform him, we just flip him round, and then we flip up the little bit, and that forms the head. And you might also notice the eyes aren't particularly well painted on this one. So this is Cerebros in his head mode, and it's pretty nice. The eyes are now painted on, which is a nice thing. You do get the stickers as well if you do want to cover them over, but there's no point really. And with all the stickers on this set, they're slightly misaligned, unfortunately. Around the back you can see, well, that's a pair of legs and a pair of arms. So he has two transformations, this guy. The first one I'll show you is the one where you're going to plug him into the city mode. And what we do is bring these legs up, straighten them out as best you can. Joints on this is very tight, and we move that bit over there like that, and then we want to fold them down like that, and you basically plug that bit into the city mode. It's not particularly good on its own, so let's go rapidly onto robot mode where we want the legs that way around. So we've got screws facing, unfortunately, and then we bring the arms round and we pop out his little hands. Yeah, it's a shame that this has the screws on the front. It looks like you could swap them round, but looking closer at it, the way that is like that, you're going to end up with the hands either not going back in or completely the wrong way around. So that's not going to work, unfortunately. And like all Headmasters, we've got the little bit that folds down. So when we plug in the head, we get the little tech specs built in on this one. There we go. And he's maximum everything. And we do get some accessories for this guy. We get the gun, which is the same colour as most of his body. But we also get this sword, which is a smaller version of the Master Sword. This was originally only available with the Japanese version, but now it's in the Encore set too, so that's pretty nice. We'll just close that up. And now we have Cerebros fully armed. So we also get two little vehicles with this set. We have Gasket and we have Gromit, if you can call him a vehicle. We'll start with this guy. He does nothing at all apart from form the legs of Cog. He's got some little wheels underneath and some tank tread stickers. Doesn't look much like anything really. Then we have Gasket, who is slightly more successful, although he does have a face visible. Now he comes with a number of guns, which you can pop on the top. We've got little stickers for the arms on there, so we'll put them on the outside. And that's Gasket in his little armoured mode. Another interesting thing about Gasket is he's actually moulded so you can fit Spike on there. So you can have him as a little wheelchair buggy thing. So we can also combine Gasket and Gromit into a robot mode, which is called Cog. So what we do, we pop these little guns off, and then we clip them together like that. And then we take these sections and plug them into the side this time. And that forms his arms. So once we've got him there, we can give him his little gun. And now we have Cog in his robot mode. So it's a shame they didn't put some paint detail on his face. That would have made this figure a little bit better. Or give us a sticker for it or something. And if we show him next to Cerebros, you can see he's actually quite tall. So Fort Max comes with 3 weapons. We get 2 guns and the Master Sword. And this is the biggest gun, probably the best one. And you see underneath we've got some nasty sprue mark there. It did have one there as well, but I managed to sand that away pretty much. I think it looks rather good now. Unfortunately that one goes into the plastic too deep, so it would mean taking away a big chunk of it. So we're going to have to leave that one. Luckily it's on the bottom. And we also get this double gun for his other hand. And again we had a nasty sprue mark there, but it's sanded away quite nicely. And exclusive to the Japanese versions of this, we get the Master Sword. This thing is huge. That's the handle, and then we've got the hilt bit, and you've got to plug that in there. It is quite tight. Now you can have it that way, or you can turn it to have it that way, which I think does look better when you get him in robot mode. And then this end, we have this section that just plugs into there. And when you combine it all, this thing is huge. So here we have Fortress Maximus out of the box. And we're going to start in city mode because, believe it or not, this is actually his smallest mode. This is still huge, but compared to his other modes, this is probably the most compacted down that he's going to be. Now you can see Cog and Cerebros in the picture there, just to give you an idea just how big this is. So city mode has a number of features, and we'll start with this one. This is the little radar, and there's a little dial there that you can spin it round. This little section here, we've got a helipad. But what you can also do, if you bring this out, you can still have the guns out. It does, however, cover up this little platform in front of it. Down here we have this little sort of repair base section that you can put any of your mini bots in. You could also maybe use it as a runway. It does have this little bit in the middle though. And also you can put things underneath, so you can have extra storage there. On each of these large ramps we've got little launchers, and all you do is slide them forward. And the one on this side has a little shelter at the back, but it's the same principle. You slide that forward. So we do have the working elevator function. So we move this little door open. There's one on the other side, which I've already opened. And what we've got to do is slide this guy in. You could maybe use some of the mini bots as well. And you've got to get him straight. And then when you turn the handle around the back, once you're at the top, you press this button. You can actually put G1 Prowl in there. Unfortunately, he's too heavy and too big to launch, but he does fit in the gap. and you could put him on these sections. He launches quite nicely off there. And we also have this little section which you can open at the back and bring the front bit round, and that gives you a little place to plug Cerebros in his brain module mode, whatever it's called. He's a little fiddly to get in. Once you've jammed him in there, you can flip that bit back down. On this side we can open this section out, and that gives you a 3-tiered repair bay. Unfortunately, Prowl's too big to go in there, but we can get a little gasket in, no problem. You can close it up if you want to, or you could have some mini bots on there. And on this side, if we open this door, it's a little tricky to grip. And then we pull this open, we've got the little jail cell. It's actually quite a big jail cell. You can see Spike there, he easily fits in. And you can lock him in there. Around the back we've got this little cockpit, and we can open that up. And Spike will fit in there quite nicely. And then you can close him in. We also have these two cannons that you can lift up. And at the bottom, where his feet were in robot mode, we can slide in a little grommet and a little gasket. So let's transform this guy then. First off, we're going to go to his starship mode, and this is going to get really big. So let's first off move the little guys out of the way, and we'll also take off the guns and this little radar piece. Next we're going to fold these pieces away. It does actually show you on the box the spaceship mode with these at the back extended out fully, but that's just crazy. There's no way I'm going to be able to fit that on the table, so we're going to get rid of them. Then if we lift this bit up, that flips over and around there, and this bit here closes like that. Then what we need to do is lift him up, which isn't easy, and we put that bit like that. So now we have the wrestling match with the legs. I have seen some other videos of these where these are a lot tighter than the ones on this one. I think I'm quite lucky that they're not too bad. You basically got to wrestle them out, spin them around, bring them forward, and then push these downwards like that. And then we've got to do the same on the other side. Yay. Without trashing the table as well. Let's just pick him up a bit, it'll be easier. There we go. And then fight that around that way. And we've got to take this bit, bring it up and out of the way. Straighten him out. And now we have the spaceship mode. Next up, we're going to put these guns back on the top here. Doesn't really matter which side you put which one. We'll do them like that. And just at this section, we're going to lift that up, spin that around, and we'll bring these guns up as well. So here we have the spaceship mode. This is the mode that you generally saw him in the old Headmaster's cartoon. This does actually kind of fly, but it's so heavy, there's no way a kid could lift this up. This is 5.5 kilograms. Also what's nice, this bit, it stays where it's supposed to be. I've seen it on others where that flops about, but this one stays exactly where it should be. So then let's go to robot mode. Now we're pretty much there. We'll take these guns off again. We do that a lot with this set. Then we'll put them down for now. And we'll put this little gun away yet again. So what we're going to do, we're going to split this part like that, just for now. And then we're going to stand him up. Bring these feet over. From here we just flip that back out of the way. This midsection, we push these bits around and they're going to lock in at the back. So these sections are going to lock into these little grooves there with these very fragile looking tabs there. This is the one bit of the set I really don't like the design of. So far it's held up, but I do fear one day that's just going to break clean off. Before we can do that though, we do need to bring that ramp back down and around like that, and then we've got to lock them into place, and it really, you have to put some incredible pressure on it to do it, and I really don't like that bit. If we spin him back round again, next we bring these arms round, bring them straight down like that. And we can also pop these arms up a little bit, spin the fist round. And finally, right at the top, we put in his head. And there we have Fortress Maximus in his robot mode. So starting at the bottom, we have leg cannons, which we can bring up like that. Also on this leg, what we can do is bring this section around, flip it over. You've got to pull it forward, and then you can spin that around, push it back. And we've got another posable cannon. At the waist, we've got even more cannons, but what we need to do is move them arms out the way first, and we can bring them round. They are a little bit ridiculous looking. We got one on the other side there. We also have guns on his hands, and what you do with these is you push them sort of halfway around, bring up the little bit there, and then continue around, and that lets you get your fingers in. Got one of them on each side, so halfway, pop it open, spin it round. We also have these guns on his arms that come around like that and lift up. And also, if you want to, it's not in the instructions but it fits, you can plug the little Master Sword into the radar slot, and you've got a spinning drill sticking out of his chest. And if that's not enough for you, we can still put the big guns in his hands. So we've got the double gun on that side, and put his main cannon on that side. So in his fully armoured mode, he has an insane number of guns. We've got 4 on each arm, 1 in each hand, 2 sticking out the front, 2 on each knee, and another 2 sticking out the side of his leg. Or if you prefer the more Japanese look, you can give him the Master Sword, and that plugs into his hand like that. And if you raise that aloft, you're adding another 12 inches to his height. So what's also cool about this is you can store absolutely everything. So if we open this bit up, we can put grommet in there. For Spike and Cerebros, we can leave Spike plugged in at the bottom, and he will still plug in like that. For Gasket, what you can do, if you switch the arms around so the stickers are on the inside, you can leave his gun plugged in there, and you can stick him in there, and he fits just nicely. So we can also use this section for storage. You could put these bits in the jail cell if you wanted to, but I like to shot them in here. So we've got Cerebros' gun and his sword, and we've also got the radar. So that leaves us with the 3 big weapons. Now this one I like to put in there, and for his other hand you can either use this gun or you can use the Master Sword. If you put this gun in, what do you do with the sword? If you put the sword in, what do you do with this bit? So when you've got the sword in his hand, if you turn him round, and at the back we have this little section here, turn this facing towards you, you can actually slot that bit in there and it stays firmly. Or alternatively, if you've got the gun in his hand, you can get the Master Sword and you can slot it right there. The only drawback being you're left with this. So let's get a good look at his robot mode then. This thing is superb and ridiculous at the same time. Standing at 22 inches tall, biggest of the G1 Transformers, absolutely insane. When you add the sword as well, as you can see, this thing stands now at nearly 3 feet from the bottom of his toes to the tip of his sword. So there you go guys, this has been Takara Tomy Encore 23 Fortress Maximus. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.